Is oral sex haram in Islam? Couples try different practices and positions to get the most pleasure while having sex. However, there are certain controversial Western practices that Muslims of this generation adopted. Oral sex is one of those, and most Muslims don't even know the rulings of it. And why is oral sex haram in Islam? Oral sex is an intimate action that has to do with the mouth and a private part. Usually, when a male or female uses his or her mouth to stimulate his or her partner's private part. Textually, there is nothing mentioned in the Quran and Hadith directly regarding oral sex. But, according to the prominent scholars of these days, this practice is makruh, advisable not to do. There are also other scholars who view this practice as haram. When it comes to oral sex, there are two aspects of this issue: the moral aspect and the religious aspect. 1. Moral aspect. From a moral aspect point of view, this sexual act we notice in animals. They put their mouths on each other's private parts. Apart from this point of view, this certain act is a shameful one. We use our mouths to recite and make the dhikr of Allah. How come someone thinks about using the mouth for such filthy and dirty stuff? According to several hadiths, the Prophet Pubh taught his companions not to touch their private parts with the right hand. Now think about this: if touching the private part using the left hand is discouraged in Islam, what would be the stance of Islam putting the private part in the mouth? This practice was not among Muslims in the early days. Through Western media and pornography, people became familiar with it, and they adopted this practice. We can adopt something from other cultures only if that thing does not violate any aspect of the existing culture or modesty. 2. Religious aspect. Before going to what scholars have to say regarding the oral sex issue, let's talk about some practice aspects of this practice, and see if it does any good or bad to an individual's religion. If a wife puts her husband's penis in her mouth, after a short time, there will be precum secretion from the penis. Precum is nauseous, impure, so there is a high chance for the wife to swallow this crystal liquid. And if it goes into her stomach, she eats something haram. A similar thing can happen with the semen. But even if the husband does not want his wife to swallow his semen, still there will be some impurity coming from the penis. Precum and semen can mix together and enter into her stomach. Forcing the wife to have oral sex will eventually lead to forcing her to eat something haram. And only the husband will be responsible for this. However, if his wife does it willingly, she will also have to take responsibility for this. Now, talking about putting the husband's mouth on the vagina, almost a similar scenario can happen. Secretion from the feminine part, meaning the vagina, is also impure. So, the husband may swallow it out of excitement or unwillingly. So, according to Indo-Pak scholars and their fatwa books, taking the filth, whether it be precum or semen, in the mouth is haram, as these liquids are impure. From this point of view, it is clear why is oral sex a sin in Islam. However, if someone indicates oral sex as kissing each other's private parts, and avoids areas where the fluid comes from, it is not something haram. But still, it would be makruh, disliked. Is oral sex unhealthy? Oral sex practice leads to several sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, including throat cancer, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, herpes, genital warts, and many other orogenital diseases, pleasing each other through foreplays. There are other things husband and wife can perform as foreplay. Even though masturbation is haram for both males and females. But the husband can perform masturbation, and similarly, the wife can masturbate her husband if one or both of them are unsatisfied after intercourse. Oral sex on wife. The same ruling is applicable to a husband who gives oral sex intimate to his wife. When the chances for discharge are higher, it is haram without a doubt. But kissing and doing other stuff in that particular area that has to do with the husband's mouth are viewed as makruh in Sharia. Do not forget, this is not the only way to please your wife. As a husband, you can use your fingers to please her if you find her unsatisfied after having a vaginal penetration. As for foreplay, touching and doing foreplay in other areas should be more than enough for you to make her interested in having sex. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Comment next topic for the video.